Why is nobody allowed to visit North Sentinel Island? Imagine looking at a map of the modern world. Every country has been photographed, every ocean has been crossed. Satellites orbit above every continent. Millions of people carry smartphones connected to a global network that can instantly reach almost anywhere on Earth. It feels as though there are no mysteries left, no places beyond our reach, no corners of the world untouched by modern civilization. But there is one small island that challenges that belief. An island where helicopters are not welcome. Tourists are forbidden. Researchers keep their distance. Even the government refuses to establish contact. Not because the island contains dangerous chemicals. Not because it hides classified military secrets. Not because of volcanic eruptions or deadly wildlife. The island is protected for one remarkable reason. The people living there have chosen to remain alone. It is called North Sentinel Island. Located in the Bay of Bengal, between India and Myanmar, the island covers only about 60 square kilometers. Dense rainforest blankets nearly every part of its landscape. White sandy beaches surround the coastline. Coral reefs form a natural barrier against larger boats. From the sky it looks like an untouched tropical paradise. Yet it is one of the most restricted places on Earth. The inhabitants are known as the Sentinelese. Anthropologists believe they are among the world's last uncontacted indigenous peoples. No one knows exactly how many live on the island. Some estimates suggest only a few dozen. Others believe there could be more than 100. Nobody can say for certain, because counting them would require entering a place the modern world has agreed to leave alone. Perhaps the most extraordinary fact is this. The Sentinelese may have lived in isolation for tens of thousands of years. Their ancestors likely reached the Andaman Islands during prehistoric migrations, long before written history began. Over countless generations, they developed their own language, their own traditions, their own way of surviving, completely independent from the civilizations that rose elsewhere. While pyramids were being built in Egypt, the Sentinelese continued hunting and fishing. While the Roman Empire expanded across Europe, they remained on their island. While the Industrial Revolution transformed the world, their daily lives changed very little. Empires came and went, borders shifted. Technology advanced at breathtaking speed. The Sentinelese continued living according to traditions passed down through generations. In many ways, they are living witnesses to one of humanity's oldest ways of life. For centuries, very little was known about them. Sailors occasionally reported seeing people on the beaches. Some ships avoided the island entirely because of dangerous reefs surrounding the coast. Others attempted brief landings. Few lasted long. Historical records from the 19th century describe British colonial expeditions to the Andaman Islands. At the time, colonial officials sought to map the region and establish control over the islands. During one expedition, several Sentinelese individuals were reportedly taken from the island by force. The encounter ended in tragedy. The older captives quickly became ill after exposure to diseases common elsewhere but entirely unfamiliar to isolated populations. The survivors were eventually returned to North Sentinel Island. Although historians cannot know exactly how those events were remembered by the island's inhabitants, they likely reinforced a simple lesson. Outsiders brought danger. Over the decades, several governments and researchers attempted peaceful contact. Anthropologists approached the shoreline carrying gifts: coconuts, bananas, metal tools. Sometimes the Sentinelese watched from the forest. Sometimes they collected the gifts after visitors had left. And sometimes they made their feelings unmistakably clear. Arrows flew from the beach. Spears were raised. Visitors retreated. To many people watching documentaries or reading headlines, those moments appeared hostile. But consider the situation from another perspective. Imagine strangers arriving without invitation, speaking a language you have never heard. carrying unfamiliar objects. Walking onto land your ancestors have protected for thousands of years. Would you welcome them? Or would you defend your home? From the Sentinelese point of view, they were not resisting explorers. They were protecting their island. Just as countless societies throughout history have defended their homes against unknown visitors, perhaps the greatest danger facing the Sentinelese is not conflict. It is disease. Modern humans carry countless viruses and bacteria that rarely cause serious illness because our immune systems have encountered them before. But isolated populations may have no natural immunity to these infections. A common cold, influenza, measles. Illnesses that many people recover from within days could become devastating if introduced into a community that has never been exposed to them. History provides painful examples. Across the Americas, the Pacific Islands, and Australia, diseases carried by outsiders dramatically reduced indigenous populations after first contact. Scientists fear the same could happen to the Sentinelese. Sometimes the greatest threat does not arrive with weapons. It arrives with a cough, or a fever, or a virus invisible to the human eye. That understanding has completely changed the way governments approach North Sentinel Island. Instead of forcing contact, modern policy focuses on protection. The government of India has established a strict exclusion zone around the island. Approaching its shores without authorization is illegal. Fishing nearby is restricted. Tourism is prohibited. Aircraft avoid flying low overhead. The goal is not to isolate the Sentinelese from the world. The goal is to protect a people who have clearly expressed their desire to remain isolated. Yet this raises an extraordinary question. In an age when humanity can land robots on Mars, map the deepest parts of the ocean, and observe galaxies billions of light years away, why would we deliberately choose not to explore one small island on our own planet? The answer is far more profound than simple curiosity. Because sometimes, the greatest sign of human progress is recognizing that not every mystery needs to be solved. For centuries, exploration was considered one of humanity's greatest achievements. The first people to cross oceans became legends. The first climbers to reach mountain summits entered history. The first astronauts to walk on the moon inspired an entire generation. Human curiosity has always driven us toward the unknown, to discover, to explore, to understand. But North Sentinel Island presents a question unlike any other place on Earth. What happens when exploration itself becomes the danger? The Sentinelese have never asked to join the modern world. They have never requested roads, hospitals, electricity, the internet, or tourists carrying cameras. Again and again, they have communicated the same message. Leave us alone. To many people, that decision seems impossible to understand. How could anyone choose isolation in the 21st century? The answer depends entirely on perspective. From our point of view, modern civilization offers extraordinary advantages. Advanced medicine, instant communication, global travel, scientific knowledge. But from the Sentinelese point of view, history may tell a very different story. Across the world, countless indigenous cultures were transformed after first contact with outsiders. Some adapted successfully. Others lost their languages, their traditions, their lands. Many suffered devastating epidemics. Entire communities disappeared before they even understood what disease had reached them. History teaches a difficult lesson. Contact is not always a gift. Sometimes it comes at an unimaginable cost. This reality became painfully clear in 2004. A massive earthquake beneath the Indian Ocean triggered one of the deadliest tsunamis in recorded history. The waves devastated coastlines across more than a dozen countries. Hundreds of thousands of people lost their lives. As rescue teams searched the Andaman Islands, many feared the Sentinelese had been wiped out. A helicopter flew toward North Sentinel Island to check for survivors. As it approached the beach, something remarkable happened. A man emerged from the forest. He drew a bow, pulled back the string, and fired an arrow toward the helicopter. It was a clear message. The Sentinelese had survived, and they still wanted outsiders to stay away. To the outside world, that arrow became one of the most powerful symbols of resilience ever recorded. While modern technology struggled to understand what had happened, the Sentinelese had already endured one of nature's greatest disasters, using knowledge passed down through generations. Scientists believe their ancestors may have recognized subtle warning signs before the tsunami arrived. Changes in the sea, unusual animal behavior, the sudden retreat of the shoreline. Knowledge accumulated over thousands of years may have helped save their lives. Then, in 2018, North Sentinel Island once again made headlines around the world. An American missionary named John Allen Chow illegally traveled to the island, despite repeated warnings from authorities. His goal was to establish contact with the Sentinelese. Soon after landing on the beach, he was killed by members of the tribe. The incident shocked the world. Many people debated what had happened. Some viewed it as a tragedy. Others saw it as a predictable consequence of ignoring both the law and the clearly expressed wishes of an isolated people. The event also reinforced an important principle recognized by anthropologists and governments alike. Respecting isolation is not simply about protecting outsiders. It is about protecting the Sentinelese themselves. Even a single visitor could unintentionally introduce diseases capable of devastating the entire community. Sometimes the greatest act of compassion is choosing not to interfere. Modern anthropology has changed dramatically over the past century. In earlier eras, researchers often believed every isolated culture should be studied directly. Today, many experts argue the opposite. The Sentinelese have the same right to determine their own future as any other people. If they choose isolation, that choice deserves respect. Not every society measures progress in the same way. Not every culture seeks the same future. Perhaps one of the greatest misunderstandings of modern civilization is the belief that there is only one correct way to live. North Sentinel Island quietly challenges that assumption. Its people have survived storms, isolation, changing sea levels, colonial expansion, modern technology, and the relentless curiosity of the outside world. For thousands of years they have remained remarkably independent. That alone makes their story extraordinary. There is another important lesson hidden within this small island. Maps often give us the illusion that the world is fully known. Every coastline has been measured. Every mountain has been named. Every forest photographed from space. But knowledge is not the same as understanding. We know where North Sentinel Island is. We know its approximate size. We know forests cover much of its landscape. Yet we know almost nothing about the daily lives of the people who live there. We do not know the name they call their island. We do not know what language they speak. We do not know the stories they tell their children. We do not know how they explain the stars above them, or the sea surrounding them. Those mysteries remain untouched, not because they cannot be answered, but because humanity has chosen not to ask. Perhaps that decision represents something remarkable. For centuries, civilization celebrated every new frontier conquered. North Sentinel Island reminds us that wisdom sometimes means stopping at the shoreline, looking across the water, accepting that not every door needs to be opened, not every culture needs to be changed, and not every mystery belongs to us. The Sentinelese may never know our history, and we may never truly know theirs. Yet perhaps mutual distance is what allows both stories to continue. In a world where almost every corner of the planet has been explored, North Sentinel Island remains something incredibly rare, a place where humanity has chosen respect over curiosity, protection over interference, and silence over conquest. Perhaps the greatest mystery is not what the Sentinelese are hiding. The greatest mystery is whether the rest of the world has finally learned that some of Earth's most precious treasures are not meant to be discovered, but preserved.